Welcome, baseball fans, to another elimination video, eliminating the Kansas City Royals. We tried to broadcast their series with Milwaukee. We had some technical problems, couldn't get it across, but trust me, folks, you wouldn't want to see it. Kansas City lost 11-0 in Game 1 and 2-1 in Game 2, and that was the end of their season. They went fishing. They planned a fishing trip, and they have a dismal record to show for it. 9-19. This is a team with playoff, history that happened in the 70s, probably 76, 78, and so forth. But I guess 73, 4, and 5, Oakland was still winning the West. So maybe that has something to do with it. Not all the pieces are here, and the pieces we're familiar with, they're just not quite ready to be stars yet. They're too young or something. It's just not clicking at all. Moreover, last year there were a couple games over 500, and they hit like 270 as a team, 280 as a team. They just had a horrific slump this year, hitting 227. ERA rose to 405. Looking at the top hitters, Mayberry was the all-star, hitting 304. Also a 435 on base. Great slick fielding. First base in the 1970s often gets forgotten about how great John Mayberry was, and he lived up to it. But Brett slumped with a 261 card. That's just not going to work in Kansas City. And then Otis hitting 230. And then you have, Patek hitting 200. And Al Cowan's down there. And the Mendoza line guys. Cookie Rojas, he played a lot. He had 70 at-bats. He hit 086. I don't know how you can go 6 for 70, but that's what he did. This team scored 74 runs, and they gave up 123. They were awful. There wasn't anything overly fluky about it. They were awful. Doug Bird had 6 saves. That was a good. Look at that. 4 pitchers have sub-2 ERAs, but they're all the relievers. By the time they came into the games were over because the pitching was kind of lackluster and the offense wasn't providing any runs. So, wasted good bullpen performance for what it's worth. I can't add any more to that. Let's just get to the next analysis. Let's take a look at the Kansas City Royal cards. To look at pull out the 8 players from 1973 that will have to be replaced with new cards. Kept, waived, or retired. It's a nice list here. Here's 8 guys, and it's going to be 4 hitters and 4 pitchers, which means they're really going to have to look long and hard at pitching because they're going to be keeping 8 hitters and 4 pitchers. So let's organize the 8 hitters and hope they just come out of a slump. That's all you can really do. I mean, there's not a lot of depth on these rosters by design. So you just have to, these are the cards you play, and that's your season. And it's like almost the NFL. It's like if you draft your players, there's no farm system to go replace guys in the mid-season in the NFL. And in my baseball season, I have the same thing. I don't really have a AAA system where I can find more cards. I don't have mid-season trades. So there are represented by a lot of familiar faces, but not necessarily. You have Mayberry coming back. Frank White is okay with this card. Maybe he gets improved. Brett slumped at 261 with this one. Maybe we go after that 76 batting title card and see if that improves his luck. Patek's hitting 200 with a 225 card. That's a real shocker. Pinella, we might want to send him to the Yankees now. He still was hitting 305, but he is a Yankee in 74, but it's probably time to move on from him. Or 73, I should say. Cowens. We have an extra guy here, I think. Yeah. No, we have 8 guys. First, second, third, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right. And then the pitching staff, we really like Marty Patton's card. It's a 76 card, so we got plenty of life left with it. And this is what happened. He pitched great with a lousy 1-loss record. So that history repeated. Gurr's got a nice card. Dennis Leonard's card is 212 innings, but the ERA is kind of high. And this is the best lefty they could find, Bill Laxton off of the Padres. So they got the work to come out for them. They got the work cut out for them, I should say. And It's not going to be easy because the White Sox are good, Twins are good, Brewers are improving. They're going to have to use their high draft choice in the draft to have a really knock the draft out of the park. Maybe Frank White and Al Cowens, two staples of those playoff teams, get replaced with better cards. It's something I might want to consider. In any event, let's take a look at the 8 cards from 1983 and see who they keep, put on waivers, and retire. All right, so now we'll take a look at the 8 players that Kansas City from 1973 has to figure what they're going to do. Beginning with Fran Healy. He was really a nice pickup coming from San Francisco. Didn't give up much to get him. Didn't play a lot with San Francisco, but 73 had a nice year. At 26 years old, he had 276, 757 OPS, and 315 plate appearances. Gets a bigger look in 74. Average and stats drop a little bit, but he's still a good catcher. He's with them in 75, at 6, and eventually in 77 he's a Yankee. I think we hold on to him. I mean, we're really closer to the beginning than the end with him here. And he's a quality catcher. And the idea is, well, if you really find a bunch of gems, then you could put them on waivers. But let's start with making Fran Healy somebody you want to keep. So we're going to use column 1 to denote that for Fran Healy. Next up is Amos Otis, who really slumped in the past year with the 73 card. Which is a shame because it really is a nice producer. You see 300, 851 OPS. He does in 78, which we're just outside the timeline, have a 905 OPS. The way you jump on that card for 4 years is you go to 74 Otis for 1, and then that card expires and you jump into the 78 card. That's the trick there. And frankly, 74 Otis is a nice producer anyway. So we know he's a keeper. We know he'll be kept by this team for a long time. But that's at least the early look. So we're going to put 10,000 for Amos Otis. We are allowed 4 of these guys. Next up is Cookie Rojas. And we're getting to a situation where Cookie Rojas and Frank White are both on this team. And how many cookies are there? 2. I mean, how long do you go with having both on the roster where you could start, you know? So Rojas is an all-star in 74, and that kind of answers the question. Frank White is going to frustratingly still be a reserve, it looks like. Now, this team does have the luxury of making a trade with 2 second basemen in the fold. And you could say, well, just because Cookie Rojas is an all-star doesn't mean he has to start. He's 35 years old, he hits 271, which is nice, but it's not amazing. For now, though, we want to be bullish on our team, who had such a bad year, you know, and just hope it works out in the next iteration here. Duke Sims, a nice little free agent, though he might have just run out of gas. Had a brilliant 72 card. And we pushed 4th with the 73 card. I think he might be done, though. Yeah, the 72 card was pretty cool. 316, 912 OPS. But we jumped on this card that he had in 73 with a 718 OPS, which leaves, yeah, he may have a card in the year of 74, but that's to be put on waivers. Actually, there's a difference between waivers and retiring a guy. So we could put him in the retired list, and if they print a card for him with either the Yankees or Texas, let's go check that out. He could get waivers. Yankees or Texas, looking for Duke Sims. Oh, there he is. They printed a card for Texas. So that means you can give him waivers. That's good. Just that we have to have guys. We need to have 64 guys on the waiver list. We need to have 4 keepers for each team. And the retired list, it doesn't matter. They don't play anymore. So now the 4 pitchers Boy, Paul Splittorff really had a tough time with the 73 card. I had a feeling something might not go right because he wins 20 games, and just wins is not a good indicator. There were some warning flags that he might struggle with the card. So there it is, 20-game winner, but the ERA is 3.98 and the WHIP's a $1.36. None of that's particularly good. His 78 card is arguably the best card of his year. He's on the Cy Young list. Similar to Amos Otis, we can't get that card next year. We have to wait a year. So they could go to the 74 card for a year. Or they can go for the 75 card, which is ERAs or run less, and then just improve it to the 78 card. But he isn't going anywhere. Look, he's our lifetime Kansas City Royal on the trivia list. How many lifetime Royals are there, right? He's on that list. It's Paul Splittorff. So we'll make him a keeper. And that's 4 of them. So maybe they have guys that would be trade bait. Bill Gogolewski. How many Gogolewskis are there out there? Just one. Play for the Rangers. Yeah. The Washington Senators, the Rangers. He's not going to have a card for waivers in 74. He might have a card that exists in 75, though it's not going to be very good. Let's just put him on the retired list. Next, we have Horacio Pena. Had a nice little card. Horacio Pena played for those Oakland A's who won the World Series, so he would have gotten a... I want to dip down and look at see if he pitched in the playoffs for them. So a really nice 73 here for Oakland. Cleveland, Washington, Texas, and he found Oakland at the right time. Then he moves to the Cubs in California. But his best year is there with the A's with a 104 whip. And the Royals got that card, so good for the Royals in getting it. Postseason pitching in 73. There's a little trophy there. Well, there you go. Played in 3 games, 5 innings, no earned runs. Gave up a lot of hits, but no earned runs. How about that for Horacio Pena at 28 years old, getting a World Series ring? Little known story there. The 74 card may exist with 2 teams if you want to put him on waivers. We can chase that. He's got to be a Cub or an Angel on this list. Let's look at the Angels first. American League. He's not there. Extra players. Nope. Let's look at the Cubs now. Not there. They're extra pitchers. Not there. So they didn't print the card as expected. So we have to put him on retirement, even though we play a little bit of baseball. And that's the dilemma you often find. These guys on the edge of the game that Strat-O-Matic doesn't print the card. These are guys that I sometimes will write the card and take a nameless card and write their name on it just for a placeholder, you could say, so that when I do a individual year draft for a specific year, like 1973, I could just move the pieces around. So I could, like for instance, in 74, I could put Horacio Pena on Oakland, where he was in 73, or the Angels, or the Cubs, depending on who just needs a guy on the roster. All right, one more player to go, and it's going to be Doug Bird, and he'll probably be a keeper. So they'll probably be having to make a move. Doug Bird had a really nice 73. Nice long reliever, too. Relief 4 a few times on his card. Had a nice year with the Yankees in 80, as a matter of fact. Has a really nice year in 74. The whip is a $112 in 76. He almost pitches on 3. He has 27 starts in 76. Just misses pitching on 3 days rest. You could argue that both Marty Patton and Doug Bird are better starters than Dennis Leonard as far as their stats go. Of course, Leonard will be the innings eater, pitch on 3 days rest, pitch longer, more durable, I suppose. But he's 11-4 in 77 as well. So Doug Bird's not going anywhere. That sets up a nice scenario. I mean, so I would say, you know, the guy you want to move on from is probably Cookie Rojas. Live with Frank White as the future. You know you want Otis. A good catcher like Fran Haley's probably better than an okay second baseman like Rojas, even though he was an all-star. I'm not necessarily buying him as an all-star when Bobby Grich is in the league and Rod Carew is still playing second base, but whatever. And then lifetime Royal Splittorff and Bird. Or it could be Healy, you know. I mean, it could be Healy or Rojas, but there's plenty of time to decide that stuff. But having 5 keepers, that's a good situation to have because you find a team that wants one of them, and then the trade means that you're going to upgrade one of your active players that you're not particularly fond of. For instance, you have Jim Dwyer, who wasn't associated with Kansas City. He could be put in the trade. Jack Heidemann wasn't associated with Kansas City. He could be packaged in that trade. Bill Laxton's on your roster. He could be packaged in your trade. Let's say you just want to improve your left-handed reliever. You could put Bill Laxton and Cookie Rojas for a better quality left-hander, like a Steve Mingori type, who Mingori was very good in the middle 70s, as an example there. So that's it for the Kansas City Royals. A really difficult and disappointing season. Hoping for better things next year. Thanks for checking this out. We'll see you next time.